Welcome. I would like to call this August meeting of the Lenoir County Board of Education to order, please. And I would like to recognize Mr. Nick Harvey for our invocation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let us pray. May the words spoken in this room tonight be beneficial to the students, parents, staff, and administrators in our school system. And may we be led by the guiding principle to always base our decisions on the best interests of our young people. Amen.
Thank you. If you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now I'd like to recognize Superintendent Williams for our agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the Board of Education, tonight it's my pleasure to submit for your consideration and hopefully your approval tonight's agenda.
Motion to approve the board agenda as presented.
Motion by Mr. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Davis. Any discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion approved. Thank you. Board chair comments. Just quickly, I'd like to thank everyone that has been involved with our summer camps, our curriculum planning, and any preparation that's been going on this summer. I know it's been hot and now it's been wet. I've seen a lot of social media posts, a lot of press on our camps. They've been going really well. Seen a lot of buses on the road every day. I've been passing, so thank you very much for all the hard work this summer. And also, this will be our last board meeting before school starts. So I would just like to wish our staff, our parents, and especially our students a safe return to school when it does start. And I hope the public realizes we're back on the road when the time comes. And once again, I wish everyone a safe return to school. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As Mr. King said, we are closing on the last few days of summer vacation and all that. Some of our staff members, in a senior staff meeting today, several of my staff members reminded me that we've been having school every day. I said, absolutely. And that was our transportation director, our child nutrition director, and our maintenance director. And certainly many of our principals and many of our teachers have been involved in that. And our big push will be for the beginning of the 18-19 school year. We're excited about that and excited about all of the great opportunities that holds for our young people. But I also want to pause as Chairman King did. That's hard to let go. He's still here. That's right. That's right. As Chairman King pointed out, we have had some outstanding camps this summer. Our EL camp has gone very well. Our STEM summer camp is going well, and our Read to Achieve camp has been very successful. All of our summer camps, we've been recognized at the state level for innovation in summer camps with our fused, our hybrid STEM summer camp at Contently Savannah, with our Read to Achieve camp and the innovation there with everything from high-end robotics and engaging instruction to basic skills, and combining those into some really meaningful learning opportunities for the young people that we are so blessed to serve. Those have been outstanding opportunities for us. We also hosted the Teach for America summer in Savannah, and you know that that instruction was provided at no cost to Lenoir County Public Schools. And these bright young people from all over eastern North Carolina came to Lenoir County, and they've been here all summer, and that was a great opportunity for not only our school system to host these young people as instructors in our schools, but also community to do the same. So it's been a great our students, our administrators, all of our students, our parents, and our guest instructors, our guest teachers. out at Contentnia Savannah for what they've done, and our camp was briefing it today. So all of the teachers and all our cafeteria and anybody who had a role in making our summer experiences for our young people successful, we commend you and we thank you. One statistic did leap off the page that I wanted to share with you, and it's not unusual for us in our summer feeding program. We've been increasing that each year, but Ms. Smith shared with me that we have been feeding over 1,000 young people per day, over 1,000 plates per day served in our summer feeding program. So we're very proud of that, because absent that opportunity, those are meals that our children might not have. So we certainly are thankful for our child nutrition program and for the opportunity to serve our kids. So Ms. Smith, thank you. Mr. Mitchell with those buses rolling every day, thank you. And Mr. Outlaw, thank you for contending. Today's been the day of leaks, and I know your phone's been ringing off the hook, so thank you for what you're doing. But thank you to the whole team. So thank you very much. As we look forward to the start of school year, we have, as Ms. Herring is going to present tonight, we have 2 full weeks of teacher work days prior to the start of the year. As part of our new calendar, we hope it's going to be an innovative calendar. We've planned for that, and part of that innovation begins with being able to go deeper and wider with the professional development at the beginning, as opposed to the traditional day here, half day there, day here, half day there. Having this deep and wide, sustained, ongoing professional development kickoff at the beginning, followed by those, if you will, booster sessions throughout the year when and where we can. So she's going to give a report on that, and that's coming up week after next week again. So we're excited about that. It's right here, and early college starts even earlier than that, Ms. Heath. So we're ready. We're going out this week, actually, for an orientation out at Lenoir County Early College High School. So we are rolling. We're excited, and 2018-19 school year is upon us. So thank you very much. At this time, it is my pleasure to recognize a member of the family. I slipped up and said his name earlier. See, I was in anticipation of the recognition, but I had the great pleasure, as did some of our board members last week, of attending the oath of office ceremony for Judge John Sargent. That's the first time we've said that in this room. So, Judge Sargent, let's congratulate Judge Sargent. It was a very nice ceremony, and the local legal community was there, and elected officials were there, and members of John's family, they were there, and a lot was said, and I certainly won't go back and repeat all that, but what I think the theme of the day was service beyond self, and that our Chairman Sargent, now Judge Sargent John, known to us in our family, has really dedicated himself to a life of service, in our case to the young people and to the community through the Board of Education service, but also as a parent, as a volunteer in his church, and on mission trips, and everything that he's done across the spectrum of service. So we wanted to pause tonight before we go any further, and we have a briefing tonight on filling the seat and all that, but before we even start down that road, we wanted to pause tonight, and the gavel that he has used here to begin our meetings, we have had that engraved for you, John, and we'd like to, because we know that's what you've been wanting. And yes, we heard you might need one, so maybe this will be your backup one, and they won't notice if you're using the school system one as well. But, and I say that in jest, but honestly, in the spirit of tonight and our well wishes to you, John, we want to say thank you. On behalf of the administrative team here, on behalf of my executive cabinet, on behalf of the Board of Education, I'll let the board members jump in and say what they wish to, but we thank you not only for your years of service, but also the dedication with which you carried yourself in the role of chairman of this Board of Education, and the degree to which I told someone today, we were talking about this, and I said to Chairman King, actually, one of the best things that I can say about you is you always wanted to you always wanted to reach out to all 7 board members, all 6 other board members, and you always talked in terms of leading a board of 7, not factions within a board. And I think that's certainly, that's not only high praise, but that's actually an accurate description of your leadership style, and I appreciate that and appreciate your service to this board. So we thank you. Any other board members would you like to?
I don't know where I'd start. I've known John many, many years. He is just a little bit younger than I am. We grew up playing basketball over here at Northwest School. I used to wear him out over there. he and his brother both.
Jesse, that doesn't appear in the minutes.
But John's, as I said a month ago, John is one of the main reasons that I am on this board now. I thank him for kind of prodding me and maybe twisting my arm a little bit, but he got me to see that it would be a good spot for me. And I've just met so many great people, John, in the school system. And thank you for encouraging me to be a part of the Board of Education. And good luck.
Judge Sargent, it was a pleasure serving with you all those years. I think we started out together, didn't we? 2012, during the elections and same election and campaigning together, and from then on, I think we developed a pretty good relationship, and it was a pleasure to serve on this board with you. Even as you became chairman, it was a pleasure to serve, and we wish you well, and I'm sure I'll be seeing more of you.
Okay, anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to say something, because a lot of people don't remember. John and I used to play basketball together. I used to dunk on him all the time. John never tells anybody that, but you know.
I'm seeing a trend here.
As tall as I am, I mean, I just, yeah. But I'd like to say congratulations to John for his judgeship, and I've enjoyed serving with him. And I hope if I ever come before him, he'll remember. Forget about the basketball, John. Don't worry. Don't forget about the basketball. But it has been a pleasure serving with you.
So we thank you, and at this time, I will ask Chairman King and Vice Chairman Hill to join me, and we will present the gavel to you. And John, we have a plaque, but their turnaround is not that fast from last week, so it's on the way. So as my grandmother used to say, thank you till you're better paid, and we have this gavel for you tonight.
One last picture. One last picture.
Let me stand beside so everybody can see what happened
How's that for fast turnaround? That's Jesse right there.
All right, you're good. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Great. Thank you.
No, I said at the last meeting, and I've said it ever since. I mean, it's really been an honor and pleasure to serve on the Board of Education. These guys put in countless hours. They don't ask for anything really in return. They are volunteers in the truest sense, and they just do it for the kids. And I'm also proud of how much progress I feel like we've made in the last 5 years, and what a great place we're in now. Thank you to Chairman King for taking over. He's going to do a great job, and you've got a great board here, and whoever fills my seat will work well with them, I'm sure. And there's just great things going on in North County, so I'm really proud of all these guys. And it was just great to be a part of it, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Any public comments? Okay, we have Kinston Teens. I don't have a name. We do have Kinston Teens, some summer interns. you want to tell them our policy.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Ma'am, you'll have 3 minutes, so I'll keep time for you.
Okay. I'll do my best. It's important, so it won't be more than 4, I promise. Good afternoon, everyone. I took notes so that I wouldn't miss anything. I stand before you with a group of students who were summer interns with Kinston Teens Incorporated this summer. We had 3 high school students who are members of the North County Public Schools, and we have 3 college students who are former members of the North County Public Schools. They've been working on a variety of initiatives this summer, including voter registration drives and other getting people informed about the upcoming midterm election. They've also been organizing community events and they've attended many public meetings. This is the 3rd of 3 of their required government elected officials meetings, so this is their 3rd one that's required by their the requirements of their internship. I apologize. They've attended the Governor's Crime Commission on Special Committee on School Safety back on July 19th. They got commended, and they were also invited to come back in October to do a presentation on behalf of students from the public schools perspective. Last week, Governor Cooper himself stopped by the office to personally commend them and congratulate them for their work in the community. At this time, I want to give a quick special acknowledgement to one of the interns who's already gone back to college, Ajay Harvey. She left today. She's doing her sophomore year at North Carolina Central University, and I'd like for them to now introduce themselves and their position with Lenoir County Schools, whether it's current or former.
My name is Mikael Taylor. I'm a 2018 graduate.
My name is Sanaya McPhail. I graduated from Lenoir County Early College last year, and I am a graduating senior at Winston-Salem State.
My name is Cameron Williams, and I'm a sophomore at North Lenoir High School.
My name is Jalen Harrison, and I'm a senior at Kinston High School.
My name is Derek Langley, and I'm a rising junior at North County Early College High School.
Thank you so much. Just wanted to make sure that they introduce themselves to you, and you may possibly be hearing from them because part of their other requirements is that they interview elected officials as well.
We'd like to congratulate them, but I want to pause and make sure that everybody heard one thing. And we were impressed with all the students, but I want to make sure that everybody heard that she graduated high school last year, and she will be graduating college this year. As they say, the times they are changing, folks. I'm telling you, that is outstanding. Great job, guys. Great job, everybody. Thank you.
We'll now move to the presentation portion of our meeting. And I believe Ms. Herring has pretty much all that with a little bit of help.
Yes, sir, I do. Thank you very much. Good evening, gentlemen. I will begin with our presentation on our administrative retreat that we participated in July 16th, 17th, and 18th of this month. And I'm trying to get the Apple TV to can't get it. Come on. Can you hit the button? Ah, there it is. So we had a theme for our retreat this year, and it was intention, ensuring that every decision that we make for the children of Lenoir County Public Schools, every decision is made with intention, specificity, and great thought. And what I'd like to show you briefly is a very short video that Apple Corporation created a few years ago. And it was an internal video. It was never meant for public consumption. But after Steve Jobs died, they felt as if they were adrift, that they had lost their purpose. And in an attempt to bring their folks back together to understand why they existed, the purpose of their work, they created this short clip, and we started our retreat with this, and I thought it was really, I think it's something you all need to see too, so I'd like to share it with you. there is music on that. He's coming. I might need Mr. White. It did play a few minutes ago. Mr. White, am I missing something? It's a very sincere possibility. We did test this beforehand, I apologize. I'm going to give up on it in just a second. Okay, I'm going to try one more time, everybody. Several of the points that came across in this short clip is that we must craft everything we do around intention, and everything we do must enhance each life that we touch. And so with that, we began our retreat. Everything we do, every decision we make, every lesson plan we write, every conversation we have must be intentional. We have to focus on what is important and not get lost in what is convenient or easy. We focused on what exactly we must do as a district to support students into every step towards success. Like the Apple Corporation, we strive to do what we do intentionally. And this is a moment when we arrived the first day on the 16th, where we began our goal setting almost immediately. We began our first full day at Trinity with Mr. Corey. This was on July 17th. He shared the video, the pictures are all compliments of Mr. Holmes, by the way. He shared 3-year testing trends with the principals in grades, covering grades 3rd through 8th grade, math and reading, and the high school EOC areas. He spent nearly 2 hours aggregating data to determine action steps and points of celebration and points of determination. He reported that as a result of the short summer school retesting initiative, every grade level, 3rd through 8th grade, in reading and math increased in proficiency. In high school, Math 1, English 2, and Biology are eligible for retesting as well, and all of the proficiency scores increased. I think it is safe to say that Mr. Corey's efforts in leading our retesting efforts were a tremendous success. Over the course of 2 days, we took the first half day and then the second day, which was a full day. We took all 5 performance goals outlined by Advanced Ed, and we determined what we had accomplished and what our next step should be, thus guiding our work intentionally for the 18-19 school year. We worked in groups assigned to each performance goal and created a logic model. This process permits us to design backwards. We determine our ultimate goal first, which, as you see on the model that this team was working on, the goal is, well, it's to my right, it might be to your left. But your process permits us to design backwards. So we determine our ultimate goal, then we identify the outcomes if we accomplish the goal, and that's the middle. And then finally, we identify the specific actions necessary to accomplish that goal. So it requires us to do very specific intentional planning around our Advanced Ed goals. At the last board meeting, I presented the changes that have come about in math and reading standards. We worked all summer with our lead teacher teams to revise and align our curriculum guides with those changes. A team of principals also worked this summer on the walkthrough instrument that we use every week into every classroom in order to improve the feedback that principals share with teachers. And we had a dedicated session where our grade span directors worked with our principals to share the changes in the curriculum guides and to go over the revisions to the walkthrough instrument. Our last day, the 18th, was mostly dedicated to our continued work on poverty and how it impacts learning. Last year, we read Eric Jensen's book, Engaging Students with Poverty in Mind. This year, we introduced turning high poverty schools into high performing schools. It really was a powerful session. The intention is that principals will redeliver the PD session we offered them at the retreat with their teachers. And when we planned the retreat, we planned it in such a way that every session that we offered to the principals could be redelivered. They'd be able to go back and redeliver it to their teachers. And we, of course, are here to provide them all the support they need to do that. I really like the picture in the bottom right-hand corner. Telling it straight right there. The article from the Harvard Law Review by Nick Craig and Mr. Snook is called Turning from Purpose to Impact. Miss Amy Jones came across this article and some of the professional development that she's been doing, and it addresses how leaders need to understand what drives them personally, to understand what their purpose is as an individual. The article does an excellent job of guiding leaders to unpack that question. That question, what is your purpose? And then translate that into their personal mission statement. This session was harder for some, but it was certainly powerful for everyone in the room. I think in conclusion, it's fair to say that we worked very, very hard and we accomplished many great things. And we really are a family. We laugh together, we play organized games together. It was a really powerful retreat. And we really are ready for the 18-19 school year. And I can't promise you this won't be the Christmas cards. So that concludes this report. Do you have any questions about the retreat? All right, is PD next? Okay. I will, if the board will, coding is next? Okay.
Coding, curriculum, creation, and implementation.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, sir. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Amy James to join me. We are going to share with you the coding and mobile app development coursework that we've been working on for the past year, because it will roll out in 18-19. So to give you just a quick review of the timeline, in the fall of last year, in 2017, Lenoir County Schools won the Coding and Mobile App Development Grant from the State Superintendent's Office.
And we were one of only 15 districts in the state to win that, by the way.
Yes, that's exactly right. And then in the spring of 2018, we formed the LCPS coding team, the really tip of the spear folks. This team meets to discuss course structure and how are we going to implement this curriculum. And then this summer, the rubber really met the road. The coding curriculum team came together and we were able to bring in Apple professional development folks to meet and work with our team, and they helped us and assisted us with creating these courses. And then this fall of 2018 will be the course implementation. We're going to be able to offer the first Lenoir County Public School coding course. It'll be offered to our high school students, and formal middle school introductory coding will be offered at all the middle schools. So during the professional development, the coding team became Apple Teacher Certified. They became Apple Teacher Swift Playground Certified, which is a coding program. And Apple Profession, of course this all came from an Apple trainer, and they were able to have a really wonderful opportunity to meet in a small group and work with have Apple Professional Development. These are the materials that we have used. They were one of the things we included in the grant is the materials that we wanted to use were free. So we knew that we didn't need to use any of the coding grant money to buy books and resources. We already have the technology, so we didn't have to spend any money on that. And the Apple curriculum is open source, so we didn't have to pay for that either. So we were able to use this material, which is available to us free of cost. I'll turn it over to Ms. Jones.
Okay, thank you. So this spring when we met with our coding team, that's a larger group of teachers, and we included teachers from the high school, all the high schools and all of the middle schools in that. And the reason we wanted to do that was so that we'd have lots of support people in every single school to assist with the implementation of this program. The smaller team that came together this summer were the teachers and DLSs that were specifically going to design this curriculum. And I am incredibly proud of the work that they did. They were, the first day we spent the entire day with the Apple trainer. We went through Swift Playgrounds. We worked our way into the Xcode platform, which was really strange and new for me too. But I learned a lot, and the teachers did as well. So then the next days were spent going ahead and designing the curriculum. What's really neat about the middle school curriculum is that we're going to deliver that through our STEM classes. Those lessons are designed to be delivered one time per week, or more if needed, but they are one time per week. And also the team developed a way for the teachers to keep up with it. They have journals, they have activities that they have to do, there's reflection, there's practice, and at the end of each year, 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade, there are some sort of capstone projects that they can do. Maybe it's coding the robots, or it might be a very simple, a flashlight app, something very simple that they can do very hands-on. And all of our teachers in middle school STEM labs, even the ones that are not as familiar with coding, will attend professional development during our PD week so that they'll know they have lots of support and help in this. The great thing about what we did, and I think one of the reasons that our grant proposal was so attractive, was because we already have the materials needed to take care of this. Every student in middle school, all they need to do the middle school curriculum is their iPad. The Apple materials are free, and they already have the iPads. For high school, they'll also need their iPad. They can access the Swift Playgrounds app on their iPad. But to move into the more challenging Xcode platform, they will need a MacBook and a charger because that drains your battery really fast. It's a very powerful program. And they'll also need access to Canvas, which all of our students have through their PowerSchool accounts. The MacBooks and the MacBook chargers, we already have as part of a refresh. We kept some of the MacBooks back in anticipation of offering this program, so every high school student that takes this class will have access to a device. So the high school team spent time, the way that we had to do the high school course is we needed to come up with a blueprint with standards. We had to talk about where those standards fell in revised Bloom's taxonomy. We had to talk about the assessments that they were going to do, and we put that together in a course blueprint that then I submit to DPI for approval for our classes to be able to start, and they'll issue us a course code. It's called a local course option, and so that's what we've submitted for, and we've been approved for it. So we'll have 2 courses offered in the middle school, Introduction to Coding and Mobile App Development, and then Coding and Mobile App Development 1. And the Coding and Mobile App Development 1 is what's considered a completer course because it's a second level course and they have to have taken the intro class in order to take the second one. So our students will have the opportunity to be a completer in an information technology pathway, which I think is great. So the way the high school courses are structured, it is going to be delivered through Canvas, and you can see this is our front page for this course. And they can click on, there's a resources button, there's the modules that they will be able to open up and see all of the assignments available to them, and then teacher information about the teacher. The class is semester long. Right now, to get us started, we are offering it to 2 to 6 students from each high school, and that includes if early college students want to take it, if LCLA students want to take it. We have it available to all of them. Kinston High School, South Lenoir High School, North Lenoir High School. So the course is going to be delivered through an online platform. Met with the principals last week to talk about the support for this course, and we've put together a really nice structure so that those students will be able to work together and have a really tight-knit community as they work through those modules. The teacher is going to be Ms. Harrell, who is the STEM lab teacher at Contentnia Savannah, and she's spent the past couple of years working on coding with her middle school students, so she's pretty familiar with Swift Playgrounds at this point. For the grading for the course, the students will complete weekly modules, and what this is the Canvas structure. When you click on the modules, it pulls apart all the things that they'll do. You can see the very first lesson is Introduction to Programming and all of the pieces that are in there. Students will complete labs and projects throughout the course, and their final grades are calculated using the labs, the projects, the student portfolio. Their overall will be their final exam, and at the end of the course they actually will create an app, and we've discussed a lot of different options for that. Maybe they create a menu app for a local restaurant, or maybe they create a downtown app to show you all the business hours of the businesses that are downtown. So lots of really great options that are applicable to our community as well. So the course is administered through the Career and Technical Education Program. It has, as I mentioned, it has been approved for delivery in the fall of 2018. Both courses will receive honors weight credit, and courses are available to all LCPS high school students, and as well as, stress again, all LCPS middle school students as well that take the STEM lab courses. So we're very excited about the possibilities here. So our next steps are to market the high school course during open house. We already have students enrolled in the courses, but we want to make sure that we also have students who want to enroll in it second semester. And another great component of our grant was because we did not have to pay for devices and we did not have to pay for curriculum, we were able to put most of our funding into the professional development to support the teachers and the students as we implement the course. And then the last piece of the puzzle is the integration of the LCC Information Technology Pathway with the high school CTE Information Technology Pathway. That pathway at LCC is already in place, and so it's just the marriage of the two together so that if a student wants to continue at the community college level, they can do that through our Career and College Promise program.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you have any questions about our coding initiative? It's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
We're
I'm
really
excited.
proud of that, and we do think that it'll be the nucleus for a K-12 coding curriculum.
Absolutely.
We see the grant that we were fortunate enough to get from the state as just the first step. They were impressed that we had a plan, a comprehensive plan for doing it with or without the grant. The grant just helps us get started more quickly, and we're starting online in the high school right now, but we intend to move face-to-face as quickly as we can and expand that, and I do mean K-12.
Yes.
A lot of districts are kind of looking at maybe 5th grade, 4th grade, 5th grade. We're really thinking K-12 to align with our implementation of our iPads and what we're really doing with digital learning all the way down to pre-K actually, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And final presentation is on our professional development that we are offering the week of August 13th through the 17th. And we've not done this before. This is something that we're able to offer because of our new calendar arrangement. But it's this first week that the teachers return or required work days. And we're offering 76 separate 3-hour sessions for all employees. Everyone has an opportunity for professional development. We are holding our professional development that week in 8 different locations. We're in the dedicated professional development center at Kinston High School. We're also inside Kinston High School in their media center and then some classrooms and in the cafeteria. We're accessing space at Rochelle Middle School, at Southeast Elementary, in the STEM lab at Continuous Savannah. We'll be, of course, holding sessions here in the boardroom at Central Services. We'll be at LCC using some of their spaces, and we'll also be at Banks Elementary School. So there's lots of different categories of sessions. I tried to go through and sort of give you a summary of everything we're going to offer. But we're reaching each, when I say ELA K-12 and Math K-12 and Science 6-12, we'll be pulling those teachers by grade level. So all of your 3rd grade teachers, all your 4th grade teachers and 5th grade teachers. Power Teacher Pro is listed first. This is actually a really big deal. The whole Power Teacher platform has evolved, changed, grown. It's different. And all of our teachers have to be trained. And so this is Mr. White is leading this initiative for us, and he has a team of teachers that went with him, I believe, to Raleigh, and they've all been trained on redelivering. And so every school is going to have a team of teachers that will attend this professional development session. And then the intent is the next week that the schools will redeliver that professional development to all the teachers in the building, because the Power Teacher Pro begins this year, so the platform is different. So that's a really big deal for us. Of course, we're touching all of the curriculum areas: reading, English language arts, math, science, history, social studies. Many of these opportunities happen every year, but it's not been organized and condensed in such a formal manner, and so this has been really nice. It's a one-stop shop for everybody to see what's happening. EC will have their opening day. Newzilla is a program we offer in the middle schools to provide informational text. Foreign language teachers will be meeting together for some sessions. We have purchased as a universal screener NWEA. It's a map. It's an opportunity for us. It's part of our MTSS initiative. We have to be able to quickly assess students at the beginning of the year in order to intentionally plan. So we have to know where the students are. We have to teach them where they are, and to get them to be proficient in the standards. And this is a very well-established research-based program, and we'll be able to initiate this very quick assessment at the beginning of the year, middle of the year, and at the end of the year, and allows our teachers to have information with regards to adjusting instruction as necessary. So we're very excited about this, but there's a bit of training, so that's going to happen the week of the 13th. We also, middle school is also going to take a look at EVOS again. The transportation department has their opening day. The nutrition department has their opening day. We're meeting with Science Olympiad coaches. We're meeting with athletic directors. We're hosting an opening day for all of our custodians. The middle school health and PE teachers are going to convene. There's a few changes to some of their curriculum. Of course, Ms. Jones just shared with you the coding courses. We're spending some time, opportunities for professional development there. Our guidance counselors need to come together, and we have some sessions for them. Edgenuity is a program we've had in the high schools for several years. It's a credit recovery opportunity for students, and it's very valuable, and it's used quite a bit at LCLA and in our high schools, our regular high schools as well. So we have continued updated professional development on that. And then of course Ms. Anderson will conduct DIBELS professional development. There's been quite a bit of change in the Read to Achieve legislation, and so we'll be going through that with teachers as well. And who is going to do all of this? Here are the presenters. I think you know us. So it's our grade span directors, it's nutrition director, our transportation director, EC directors, technology directors, interim directors. We have 2 instructional coaches, Christy Eubanks and Wendy Pyro, who are going to be assisting us in leading many of the curriculum sessions. We have a trainer coming in for the NWEA, that's the Universal Screener, Ms. Anderson. We have our district coding team, our district math team. There's no way we could do all 76 of those sessions, so we do rely on some of our master teacher leaders to assist us with this. So we're very excited about this week of professional development. We've been working very hard at getting it organized and ready to go. I think it's going to be very beneficial to our teachers and our staff. So that is the conclusion of that report. Do you have any questions about our professional development that week? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We will now move to the action portion of our agenda. And I'll turn it over to Ms. Waller for a process for filling our board vacancy. Very important item.
Thank you, Chair. So an advertisement went out, I believe it was in the paper on Saturday, is that correct?
Yes, Saturday.
Sort of announcing the vacancy for people, and just to give you a recap of what the advertisement said, it said that anyone who is interested in the filling of the seat needs to meet the basic requirements, which would be 21 years old, someone who's qualified to vote, a resident of District 3 for a minimum of 30 days, a registered Democrat for a minimum of 90 days. If they're interested, they would need to submit a statement of interest by August 10th, which would include an affirmation that they meet those minimum qualifications and a statement as to why they'd be considered for office. And then everybody who meets those qualifications at the time they submits a statement would then have 5 minutes to present to the board at your regularly scheduled meeting on September 4th. So that's what went out to the public on Saturday, August 10th is a week from this Friday. So anyone who's interested would need to have that postmarked by that date to have it here and submit it here to the superintendent's office. So that's the process that's been set up and shared with the public. What you have before you is the process that you all want to consider, and I sent a memo to you all about the process that was used several years ago. It details the same, it tracks the same process that was used the last time you had a vacancy several years ago. And I would suggest that you go ahead and pass a process that you're comfortable with. What you did last time was you allowed each candidate to come forward and speak for 5 minutes, and then when the board was prepared, they voted via ballot. The ballot would have all of the candidates' names on it, and you would vote for one person, and then the ballot is tallied, and if no one individual receives 4 votes, then the individual receiving the fewest amount of votes would be removed and the board re-votes, and that process would go on until you have someone who receives a majority of the board votes.
Could you repeat that one more time?
The voting process?
Mm-hmm.
So our recommendation, I believe this was how it was handled before, was that the board would vote by ballot. Mm-hmm. Every ballot would have the names of all of the candidates that qualified and who were there present. The board member would vote for one member, or one candidate. Those would get tallied, If there was a member, if there was a candidate who received 4 votes, then he would then be the new board member, he or she would be the new board member. If, on the other hand, there wasn't someone who received the majority of the board's support, the individual with the fewest votes would be removed from the ballot and the board would re-vote. And that process would continue until there was one candidate who received the majority of the votes.
If there were 2 or 3 with, say, tied for the fewest votes, or see none, would it be all of those removed?
The board can make a decision as how you want to handle that.
I mean, if you had,
I mean, if there was a tie, it wouldn't make sense to remove just one. I think that would be more than one would need to be removed.
So in the process, who vets the applicants to make sure that they have the minimum qualifications?
Well, the candidates, that's something that the board chair and I would make sure that they meet those qualifications. I mean, there is just an affirmation at that point that is provided, but if the board wants to make sure that, for instance, there's some question about that, we can certainly vet that. Best.
any further questions for Ms. Waller?
Yeah, one more. In the interim, in the event there's a tie vote among the board, who breaks the tie?
The board continues to deliberate until there is not a tie.
Okay. I want to make sure that was clear for everybody. We don't usually have that, but you never know.
There have been instances when meetings have gone quite late for us until the tie is broken. So it just may solicit more discussion from the board.
Do we have a motion to accept the process of selecting a new board member?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Davis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Quick question.
So if for some reason before the next board meeting or at the next board meeting, we decide we need to modify those, that process we'll be able to do. I mean, I'm just saying if something were to come up and something, we can modify it before the next board meeting or at the next board meeting?
Well, at the next board meeting, you could entertain a motion for that. That would, I believe, since you've already voted on this, it may require another vote to reconsider this, but there is a process that would allow the board member to make that motion.
Any further discussion? All right, call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. And our next action item will be our child nutrition vendor information. Mr. Harvey and Mrs. F.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Good evening. I bring before you tonight the vendor recommendations for school year 2018-2019. This includes our Cisco Raleigh, which is a rollover. We have a lot of rollovers. R&H Produce, milk, Mayola, ice cream, we quoted that out this year with Craven County. And so Hershey retains it and we start over with year 1. So this will be year 1. And our uniform tops have changed as well. And then that was quoted out and slushy was rolled over to Juice Alive and chemicals were rolled over. So for the majority of that, it was rolled over because we're just moving over to another year with that same company.
How's that partnership with Craven County Schools?
How are we partnered with them?
Yeah, how does that work out?
We're in a purchasing group with them.
Okay.
And we're in with like Pamlico County and Jones County, but those other ones chose not to go with Hershey, but we did. And so the two of us came together to seek out better prices and Hershey won it. So I'm seeking approval tonight so that we can get the ball rolling on getting the trucks in for the school year. So I would appreciate your approval tonight.
Entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Woods. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hill. Any further discussion? All right, we'll call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries.
Thank you.
And next will be Ms. Roach, exceptional children's contracts for next school year.
Good evening.
Good evening.
The Exceptional Children Department is requesting approval of the contract presented before you tonight in the report for the 2018-2019 school year. These contracts will provide services for occupational therapy, speech therapy, and psychological services for exceptional children in the district. We do have money in the budget to cover these contracts.
Thank you. Any further questions or any questions for Ms. Roach? I'll entertain a motion. Accept the contracts.
So moved. So moved.
Mr. Woods, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Davis? Any further discussion? All right, we'll call for the vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. All right, thank you. Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Roach.
Thank you.
Next is our policy revisions. You, Mr. Williams.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, these policy revisions recommended by the North Carolina School Boards Association, you saw initially for our first reading, study, and review, and we're bringing back to you for action tonight.
Move to approve North Carolina School Board Association policy revisions.
Motion to approve. We have a second. Is that Mr. Hill? Mr. Hill with a second. Any discussion? All right, call for the vote. Please raise your right hand in favor. Motion carries. Thank you. And we have one more action item. Mr. Harvey on surplus items.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight I have two surplus items, or two departments requesting surplus items to be surplus. The Transportation Department has replaced a 9,000-pound lift, and the Technology Department has old iPhones that are currently not in use. We request that these items be deemed surplus with the proceeds returned to the respective department.
Motion to approve the sale of the surplus items.
Motion to approve the inventory items as surplus and sale with the proceeds returned to the appropriate department.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Smith, second. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you. And now we'll entertain a motion to go into closed session.
I move that Lenore County Board of Education go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel files to consult with the board's attorney in order to preserve the attorney-client privilege and to consider matters related to the initial employment of the individual employee.
Second.
Second by Mr. Smith. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you. Now in closed session. Okay, the Lenore County Board of Education is back in open session. Have a motion to accept the personnel recommendations as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the personnel recommendation in the agenda.
Mr. Smith, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Davis.
Mr. Chair, I would like to recuse myself. I have family members on the personnel report.
Okay. Mr. Hill. All right, do we have any further discussion before we vote? All right, I'll call for the vote. All in favor of approving the personnel recommendations as presented, please raise your right hand. Motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's my pleasure tonight to make a few announcements about administrators changing roles and advancing. We have two principalships that have been advertised as vacant. We've been interviewing for those. We had a flood of applicants, and that's the good news for us, that so many people want to be principals. These were both elementary principalships, and I think it certainly speaks well for our district and for these schools that we had so many interested people wanting to lead them. I've chosen veteran principals for both schools, and at the first school, Southeast Elementary School, Mr. Andre Whitfield. Mr. Whitfield, if you'd stand. Let's give him a round of applause. Confident that Mr. Whitfield will do a great job. He's done a good job at Lenoir County Learning Academy, and he'll do a great job at Southeast as well. Congratulations, sir. Banks Elementary School, Miss Susan Glover. Ms. Glover, if you'd stand, please. Ms. Glover, how many years of experience at Banks? Don't want to put you on the spot. A few? A few plus. She's a veteran Banks teacher, familiar with the Banks and the Banks family. I think she'll do very well at Banks. So thank you. Congrats, Ms. Glover. The principalship at Lenoir County Learning Academy, vacated by the impending departure of Mr. Whitfield, will be filled. We thought we had that filled and not. And it will be filled, and we'll be starting second interviews with some of our recent applicants. We'll start day after tomorrow, and that will be filled hopefully within the next week or so. So that is to come. Also, Director of HR, we tried everything we could to get Ms. Cole to change her mind. Our efforts were not successful in that, so she is leaving us. This is her last day on the job with LCPS and her last event on the last day. And as I told the board earlier, she has saved the best for last, so she saved her last activity for you all. Let's give Ms. Cole a round of applause. Ms. Cole, we appreciate you for all that you are and all that you've done for the students and staff members of this school system. We wish you well. You'll always have a home in Lenoir County. We have not filled that position yet permanently. We will have an interim person in there immediately. A retired LCPS family member, Ms. Pamela Heath, has agreed to, she's been filling in for us at Southeast Elementary School, and now that Mr. Whitfield is going there, she's agreed to come here and work with us until we can fill that. We hope that by the next board meeting, by the September board meeting, we will have a name on the agenda. And timing sometimes is great, and timing sometimes is not great. And there's no great time in the HR world, but certainly the summer is the least ideal time possible to have a vacant position. So we do appreciate Ms. Heath's willingness to help us in that. So we thank her as well. Our assistant principals, first, Dr. Janet Blaybaum will be going to South Lenoir High School to fill the vacancy created by Ms. Glover's promotion to principal. Ms. Sheila West will be going to Frink Middle School to fill the vacancy created by the promotion from Lenoir to Jones County of Holly Ball, which you left to accept a principalship in Trenton. And Ms. Crystal Carlisle will be going to Kinston High School to fill the vacancy created by the retirement of Ms. Keisha Dunn. So we wish all of our administrators well. Congratulations. Let's give them one more round of applause. And at our next meeting, if not before, and I think before, we'll have 2 more administrative names for you, hopefully after the next week, possibly 2. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. If there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Anderson, do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Woods. Any further discussion? Call for a vote. Please raise your right hand. In favor? Thank you. We're adjourned.